What's next starts now. Together. Connections spark innovation. Ideas ignite breakthroughs. Technology fuels possibility. Let's discover more. Expand our horizons. Transform what's next. The brightest minds. The biggest leaps. The boldest change makers. Let's design the future together. This is power. This is community. This is Cisco Live.
Please welcome to the stage Cisco's President Asia Pacific, Japan, and Greater China, Ben Dawson.
Good morning, Cisco Live Melbourne. Welcome to those of you who are joining us here in person today. And of course, a big welcome to those that are joining in online remotely. We've got a great show for you today. But it's hard to imagine we are back here. It feels like just yesterday when we were here 12 months ago. It's also incredible to see how this event has evolved. From its humble beginnings, just 32 years ago, we started this journey with just a dozen or so engineers who gathered in Brisbane to connect and to collaborate. And it's just incredible to see the evolution. We've got a great show for you today, but before we get started, I did just want to remind everybody we'll be pausing proceedings at 11 a.m. for Remembrance Day. For those of you not familiar, Remembrance Day started in 1919 to commemorate the end of the First World War. And today, it's an opportunity for us to pause, to reflect, and to remember all those that have given their life in service and remind us of the events that led us to and allowed us to be here today. So watch for that at 11 a.m. But let's get started. This is my first Cisco Live leading Asia Pacific, Japan and China. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. But whilst it's my first in this capacity, it's certainly not my first time in this room, having been with Cisco 27 years. For 26 years, I sat where you are. And now I have the honour of fronting what is the best event of its kind anywhere in the region. And as I look into this audience, I see an engineering community that has navigated some of the biggest technology transitions we have ever seen. And we have an incredible shared history. We've been part of that journey with you. And I was reminded of that history recently, earlier this year, in fact, when I travelled to Vietnam. And I met a partner, a Cisco partner. And I asked him about his journey with Cisco. He said he'd been a Cisco partner for 30 years, which was incredible in and of itself. But he also went on to explain that he was one of those people who first brought the internet to Vietnam. He and that small team turned on the digital lights for that country. And it was a good reminder for me of how profound some of the change and some of the impact this community has driven over the years. And I know many of you have similar stories, those that have been in the industry for a long time. I've also been blown away by the level of trust you have placed in Cisco over that time. And we do not take that for granted. We want to earn your trust every day. And we want to earn that by delivering world-class technology, innovating with and for you, and ensuring we put the industry's smartest minds in front of you every day to help you take full advantage of the technology. This idea of trust was underscored for me recently. We were lucky enough to secure a major security franchise with a leading enterprise customer. Now, this customer had been investing with a Cisco competitor for a number of years. I know what you're thinking. Surely there's no alternative to Cisco in security, but evidently there is. After we were given that award, I spoke to the customer and I asked him, why Cisco? And his answer was interesting. He said, your technology is great, your commercials were competitive, but we chose Cisco because we wanted to work with an organisation that we knew would stand shoulder to shoulder with us through what is a really important program and would be with us for the duration and would work with us through the good, through the challenge, and put it right. And I think that speaks volumes about why we're all here and why we've been together for such a long time. Technology transitions come and go, but that foundation of trust has underpinned what we've achieved together and will be important as we go forward. And I believe that idea of trusted partnership and working with a trusted vendor is more important than it's ever been. We're operating in complex and uncertain times. You only need to look at the headlines every day about some of what's going on in the global economy and geopolitics. And it's a future that presents opportunities and challenges in equal measure. In my first 100 days in role, I've been lucky enough to travel through many of the countries in the region, and I've been struck by the optimism, the bullishness, the ambition that exists in this part of the world. We see economies and countries and governments and business innovating in ways that we just don't see in other parts of the world. And the economic opportunity is enormous. It's estimated that by 2030, 50% of the world's GDP will be generated by this region. And as I get around, I recognise that companies and businesses, they see technology as being a critical element in realising that potential. But there's also some challenges. Think about cybersecurity. Yeah, as the world gets more complex, as the environments that we build and manage get more complex, as we're pushing services closer to the edge, connecting to different things in different ways, the threat vector is changing. And the sophistication of attacks is changing. In our most recent Cyber Readiness Index, 82% of organisations surveyed said they'd been the subject of an AI-enabled or AI-supported attack in the last 12 months. Yet only 14% of them said they felt truly ready to deal with that type of incident. And this is further underscored by Splunk's State of Security report recently, where 46% of respondents said they were burning time. They were spending their time dealing with the tool sets and supporting the tools rather than dealing with the threat in front of them. This has to change if we're going to scale. But whilst the threats changed and got more sophisticated, I do think some of the principles that have worked for us remain true, just as true today as they've always been. We need to build architectures that are inherently secure. We need operations models that are mature. And we need incident response plans that are contemporary and exercised on a regular basis. And to support that, Cisco continues to build and bring new tools and new support to ensure that you can execute against that. And of course, the biggest opportunity of our time is right in front of us. AI is moving at a pace and scale we have never seen before. And it promises to fundamentally transform countries, economies, markets, businesses, and the societies in which we operate. We see countries embracing AI, emerging countries in this region, embracing AI as an opportunity, as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to leapfrog their more developed peers. IDC estimates that by 2030, AI investments could generate $22.3 trillion in economic benefit. The prize is enormous, but the challenge in capturing that prize exists as well. Which models? How do we secure it? How do we unlock our data? If we're going to take advantage of this, we need to solve those challenges. And the question is, are we ready to do that? The answer appears to be some of us. Cisco recently published its third annual AI Readiness Index, which is a survey of 8,000 organisations across 30 countries, 25 industries, and including 14 countries right here in APJC. And it asks respondents about their readiness to embrace AI. It looks at the technology, the business, the controls, processes, and the skills. And what we found in that, only 13% of those organisations surveyed fell into what we call the pacesetter category, those that are truly ready to take advantage of AI. And I think it's instructive to look at what they do well and what sets them apart from the broader population. For pacesetters, AI isn't a side project. They don't have an AI strategy. They have a business strategy, and they're integrating AI into that business strategy directly. They have clear plans, they have clear governance models, and importantly, they have an investment profile that matches the ambition. 79% of respondents in the pacesetter category said they felt they had adequate budget to invest in AI the way they needed to support the business. The second thing they do well is they move from pilot to production. We see much higher ratios of pacesetters having real clarity on what the use cases are going to be and having plans to help them get there, to move from concept to reality. And one other thing they do very well is they understand how to measure it. What is the impact likely to be, and how do we know we're making progress in that? Pacesetters also recognise that security is not a bolt-on. Security is a core part of the value proposition. To truly take advantage of AI, it's about unlocking not just the power of AI, but it's unlocking the power of the data we possess. And that data is really valuable to us. And it has the opportunity to deliver real value and new opportunities. But it's also valuable to others. So thinking about the governance, thinking about the policy, thinking about how you utilise your data, and do it in a way that's safe and secure, unlock the value, but not unlock your IP. And pacesetters are also thinking about the infrastructure they need. They're not focused on optimising infrastructure for the needs of today. They're thinking about how they build for the needs of tomorrow. AI changes everything. The volume of traffic. As we see a doubling of the compute, the network becomes a choke point long before the GPUs do. The patterns of that use. We're talking GPU to agent, agent to agent, agent to robot, and of course, agents interacting with our people. So it's not only the scale of those interactions and data, but it's the way they flow. And the infrastructure needs to be reimagined to cater to that. What we've built in the past won't sustain us in the future. Last year we stood on this stage and we talked about Cisco's differentiation, how we bring together the network, security, observability and collaboration to deliver new outcomes. And we do that in a way that no other organisation on the planet can do it. And fueling that is our innovation engine. And we're on fire. I've not seen a pace of innovation in Cisco in my 27 years here, but there's still a sense we're just getting started. What you see on this screen is just some of the innovation we've delivered in the last 12 months alone. And even recently as last week with the launch of Unified Edge. And you'll see more of that today in Jeff's session when the team run through it. Unified Edge brings together the network, compute, security, observability into one platform to allow you to put capability at the edge, to allow you to move your workloads to where they belong rather than where you have to deliver them today where you have capacity. You'll see more of that in the session shortly. And Jeff's team are going to unpack a lot of these innovations and show you what they can do. Innovation only matters, it's cool, right? But it only matters if it can deliver real business value and impact. Singapore Sports Hub is one of the world's leading sports, entertainment and lifestyle precincts. Last year, we announced on this stage Wi-Fi 7. Kalang Management Company and Singapore Sports Hub saw that as an opportunity to create something new in their precinct. They brought together Wi-Fi 7 along with intelligence and automation that allowed them to make agentic ops real. They leveraged AI Assistant and AI radio resource management to allow their networks team to identify, anticipate, and remediate challenges in that environment before it impacts their users. But the real power of this precinct-wide rollout of Wi-Fi 7 is that it unlocks a new digital platform to create new fan experiences and transform the experience that people have when they come to this precinct. So today I'm thrilled to announce this Singapore Sports Hub is the first Wi-Fi 7 enabled stadium in APJC. So congratulations to the team of Singapore. I talked before about our shared history and the journey that we've been on. 40 years ago, we started by building the first networks for our businesses and for our customers. We connected people to people, we connected people to information. We then took that global. We built the internet. You think about the impact that transformation has had on all of us over years. We then put the internet in our pocket and took it mobile. We then worked with companies to support their cloud ambitions and think about how they delivered new applications in new ways. That in turn supported the mass digitisation of countries, industries, society. And more recently, we built the technology stack together to support the changing needs of our workforce. As the workforce has become more hybrid and people want to work from where they're most effective versus where the technology lives, we've had to build the technology stack to support that. The next challenge, the next opportunity, is to build for AI, to truly unlock the potential that AI presents and protect us from the challenges that exist. These technology silos are very different things. They're built differently, they deliver different outcomes, they run in different ways. But there's a common thread. The common thread is the network. It always has and always will be the foundational layer that enables wherever this technology takes us and allows us to utilise that technology to its full potential and do it in a way that's safe and secure. And as we've layered more and more of these capabilities on top of the network, it's become more critical than ever. The dependence on the network infrastructure is like we've never seen before. The bounds of that network infrastructure continue to broaden. 5 nines is no longer an aspiration. 5 nines is table stakes in supporting your businesses as you embrace these opportunities. Cisco, we're committed to ensuring we put in your hands every day the technology, the tools, the processes to help deliver against this expectation. And we're aligning the whole company behind this. We're aligning our portfolio around the pillars that we know will be critical to executing on this. We're reimagining the data centre. We're thinking about the network, the compute, the observability, the management, the security to support these new workloads and to support the new behaviours that they'll bring into the data centre. And we're also preparing for the redefinition of that data centre, away from the monolithic buildings we think about today that will clearly continue to play an important role. But as use cases move further to the edge, we're looking to build that capability where it needs to exist rather than where it lives today. We're also future-proofing workplaces. We talked about the changing demands from employees on the need for them to operate where it makes sense. This challenge is the same, but it actually accelerates more as we bring AI into the mix. As it's no longer about just employees interacting with each other, but employees interacting with agents, we know that the demands on the workplace are going to change. We don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but we do know that there's an infrastructure required to support that. And of course, none of this matters if it's not reliable and resilient. As the criticality of that infrastructure has grown, the focus of our response has grown with it. We're building world-class, reliable, consistent network technology, but it's more than that. We're also fusing security and observability directly into the network so that you can anticipate changes, you can anticipate issues, and you can respond to it seamlessly before your users or your constituents or your stakeholders are impacted in a negative way. All of that's going to help create this foundation for AI, but we're also embedding AI capability in everything we do to make our technology easier to design, deploy, utilize, and interact with. Now, it's fair to say there's a lot of hype around AI at the moment, and I think that'll be with us for some time to come. At Cisco, we're focused on ignoring the hype and preparing you for whatever that eventuality looks like. We want to work with you to make those no-regret moves that will put you in good stead to exploit AI to its full potential and support the needs of your business. I don't think anyone knows which models are going to prevail, which vendors are going to prevail, which business cases are going to make sense, and those that are not. But what we do know is getting the infrastructure right to take advantage of those opportunities and deal with those threats is critical. And the time to do that is now. And I think this week serves as a really important vehicle to start that journey. This week you'll have the opportunity to interact with Cisco experts, look at some great technology, spend time with your peers and spend time with our partners, and think about and workshop and collaborate on how you can embrace this opportunity. I'd love to see every one of you emerge from this week with a really clear plan. A plan on how each of you can support your business in becoming pace setters in the years to come. So whilst the opportunity is not clear, we don't know where this AI journey will take us. I think we can make some moves now to be ready for wherever that is. So, we've heard a bit about where we've come from. We've heard a bit about the opportunity. In the next session, you're going to hear a lot about what Cisco's doing to bring the cool technology and capabilities to help support that. I thank you for being part of this week. I know we've got a great show ahead. I thank you for your investment in Cisco. I thank you for your loyalty and trust over the last few years. And I very, very much look forward to writing the next chapter together. Thank you, and have a great week. Cheers.
The future with AI won't be a straight path. It'll twist, it will turn, it will zig, then zag. The answer isn't to avoid going forward. It's knowing how to navigate your way with certainty and speed, even when the path is complex. Cisco is powering the AI era by empowering you to reimagine data centers and workplaces with unrivaled infrastructure, security, and resilience, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco, making AI work for you.
Please welcome to the stage Cisco's Senior Vice President Portfolio Strategy, Jeff Schultz.
Good morning, everyone. This is my third year here at Cisco Live in Melbourne, my first time on stage as well. And I am so excited to be here today to talk to you about our product strategy in a holistic way. And I hope at the end of this session, you will see truly how far we've come in the last year since we were here on stage a year ago. But to get started, I think it's important to take a step back and think a little bit about what are the market trends that are really driving our thinking when it comes to strategy. And the reality is, the next era of AI is here. And what do I mean by that? What we have seen over the last couple of years is the era of the chatbot. And this is where humans are talking to AI, getting great information, learning things in new ways, and getting information across different systems that we could really never get before. And it has been really, really transformational. But this next stage of AI is going to be even more transformational. This is when agentic AI, or agents, are able to actually do full tasks. Think about complete workloads, either autonomously or semi-autonomously, working with humans, working with other agents to actually get jobs done and do real work. And we are extremely positive on this. We believe AI, agentic AI in particular, is going to make a world of 8 billion people feel like we have the capacity of 80 billion people. But at the same time, AI is going to have massive implications for the technology architectures of everybody in this room. And in many ways, if you think about how technology is kind of a pendulum and shifts back and forth, we've seen a lot of shifts over the last 5 or 10 years, and in some ways, some things are even shifting back. Cloud and on-prem and how we think about security are all fundamentally changing. And let me give you an example of some of the things that are causing that change to happen. And let's just look at inferencing as an example. As we move into the agentic era, you are going to see more inferencing happening, where instead of just training models, your organizations are going to be using models to drive incredible systems. But in the era of chatbots, what we saw was that the demand on our inferencing and in our infrastructure was very choppy. Someone would go and ask a question, and AI would go off and get an answer, come back to you, and you would see spikes of demand in your infrastructure. Agentic AI is going to completely change that, because as agents start taking on full tasks, as they collaborate with other agents, as they start to work over long durations of time, you're going to see the demand on your infrastructure go up very high and stay very high. So your power needs, your compute requirements, your networking requirements are all going to fundamentally change. And we think that there are actually a few things that are actually going to potentially slow us down towards this huge opportunity. So 3 particular things: an infrastructure constraint, a trust deficit, and a data gap. The infrastructure constraint we just talked about. Do we have enough power? Do we have enough compute? Do we have the networking in place to be able to handle this new demand on all of our infrastructure? The trust deficit is also very, very real. And what we've seen is that people are anxious to get going with AI, but there is a trust issue. And it comes into a couple different areas that are even beyond the normal security issues that we have to think about. So we have to think about AI safety. AI models are non-deterministic. You can ask the same question multiple times and get different answers. And you have to protect yourself against harmful content and potentially damaging content, or even the release of sensitive information. And so AI safety is a critical area that we need to focus on. AI security is another key area of focus, because that's preventing bad actors from getting your AI systems to do bad things. So all of these are things that we now need to take into account. And we also have a data gap. And the data gap is that, if you think about AI, it's been primarily trained on human-generated data up until now. Things like audio and text and video. But what we know is that machine data is actually the highest growth area of data today. 55% of all new data will be machine data. And we have not yet figured out how to capture the value of that machine data for AI. And so that's a critical thing we're going to need to do. And Cisco is head-on attacking all of these issues. And that's why you hear us talk about being the critical infrastructure for the AI era. High performance, low latency networking, compute, optics, security, observability, collaboration. All of these things put us at the very center of this movement. And this is the area where you're going to see us innovating at a continuous rate and at an even faster rate than you've even seen before. But before I go on to the next stage of the strategy, we are now at 11 o'clock. And so, as we said, it is now time to reflect and to silently remember all of those who have served. So please join me. Thank you, everyone, for observing this moment of silence with us. So now what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about how we are actually attacking this challenge and becoming the critical infrastructure for the AI era. And as you saw before, we are doing this by focusing on the core outcomes that we think you need to drive in your organizations. So AI-ready data centers, which is where the digital workers of the future are all going to work and live. Future-proof workplaces, where humans work, collaborate with each other, work with customers, work with patients, and get the jobs of the future done. We also know that data centers and workplaces don't exist in silos. And so that's why we are so focused on what we call secure global connectivity, working with our service provider partners to make sure that you can have secure, high performance connections between your data centers and between your data centers and your workplaces. And digital resilience is critical. We need to make sure that you have the ability to leverage all the data that you have to keep your business up and running and protect it from downtime, whether it's an infrastructure issue or whether it's a security threat. And all of this is powered by Cisco AI. And so what I'd like to do now is walk you through each of these different areas over the course of this next session and really dive into what's driving it. So we'll start with AI-ready data centers. The reality is the world today is seeing the largest build-out of data centers that we've ever seen in human history. And we at Cisco are foundational to all of these build-outs. We are focused on hyperscalers, neoclouds, service providers, and enterprises. And our strategy is in really three different parts. First, innovating for hyperscalers and service providers. Second, fusing security into the network. And third, delivering an integrated AI stack. And so let's talk about what each one of these means. So when it comes to hyperscalers, what we know is that agentic AI is driving a need for processing power at absolutely unprecedented scale. And so let me give you an example of what that looks like. If you think about the very, very early days of AI, we were training models on a single GPU. But that very quickly became not enough. And so what ended up happening is we started taking multiple GPUs and putting them into servers to be able to handle that increased training workload. And so we scaled within servers. But then that, of course, wasn't enough. And so then you have this notion of scale up. So taking multiple servers that have multiple GPUs and putting them all in a rack and having them all work tightly together. But again, that also doesn't scale, and we had to go even further than that. And so then you start seeing what we call scale-out architectures, where you now have multiple server racks within a data center that all need to be interconnected at very high bandwidth and low latency. And oftentimes you see high-speed optics in the middle of this connectivity. But again, what we have seen with the advent of especially agentic AI is that even this is not enough. And a single data center just simply cannot house enough server racks to get the job done. And it's because of power constraints, space constraints, and even local or regulatory reasons why you just simply cannot build data centers larger and larger. And so now we have the need to scale across, to actually have multiple data centers working in unison across hundreds and potentially even thousands of kilometers, and again, connected with coherent optics. And so this is a new challenge that we need to face. And what Cisco has done is we have been focusing on building high-performance scale-across solutions for this very reason. And we were super excited a few weeks ago to announce the new Cisco 8223 router. This is a 51.2 terabyte router, 20 billion packets per second, 65% less power than the previous generation. It's powered by our P200 Silicon One chip that has deep buffer technology so that it can handle burst traffic between data centers. And when paired with our optics, what we are seeing is that you can now get the performance across data centers at distance that used to be only achievable with a switch within a data center. And so this is really critical to this next phase as we see data centers really start to expand. And by the way, why I know many of you in this room aren't necessarily going to do that, but it's important for you all to know that the technology and the innovation that we are putting into these new capabilities are the exact same technology and innovation that we're bringing to the enterprise as well. So that's why it's so critical that we be focused on the data center expansion as well as bringing that to the enterprise. But let me turn attention to the second part of our strategy, which is fusing security into the network. And why is that important? We think in today's day and age, the attacks are so real, and you have to assume that an attacker has already gotten in. They're already in your system, and they are moving laterally between systems and systems. And so you have to stop lateral movement of these attacks. And so where does lateral movement happen? It happens on the network. And so we believe that security and networking can no longer be viewed as separate items moving into the future, which is why we need to bring it together. And it starts with the traditional firewall. And what we've done over the last several years is spent our effort to completely revamp and upgrade our entire firewall family. And so now we have price performance leadership across the entire spectrum of firewalls, from the smallest branches up to the largest data centers, especially with the launch of our new Firewall 200 series and 6100 series firewalls. But that's not enough. The demands of AI, and specifically agentic AI, are going to require us to move security closer and closer to the workload. It has to be right at the containers and the servers where workloads are running, and it even needs to be in the network, which is why we've brought together all of our physical and virtual firewalls, our secure workload capabilities, our eBPF capabilities, and Hypershield into one system that we call a hybrid mesh firewall, all managed with one control plane called Cisco Cloud Control, Cisco Security Cloud Control. And what this allows us to do is manage all of this firewall capability through one control plane, and including third-party policy. And key to this hybrid mesh firewall strategy is what we are calling a smart switch. This is a new category of converged security and networking appliance. Think of it as a device that has two personalities, a network personality and a security personality. And what this allows you to do is run high-performance networking, just as you would with one of our normal switches, but also run security processing on the same box. So when tied to the hybrid mesh firewall, this allows you to redirect east-west traffic that's happening across your systems away from perimeter firewalls or other places that may be inspecting it or may not even be inspecting that traffic, and now inspect that traffic at line rate within the networking device itself. And this is really game-changing, because as we see agentic AI take off, we believe the amount of traffic you're going to have to handle within your data centers is going to skyrocket, and you need to have the security and the networking built together. And it's a great example of where Cisco can truly innovate in this market because of our expertise in both. But obviously, security also then requires a full stack. It requires you to actually think about the infrastructure in total, and that's why we have the third part of our strategy in the data center, which is to deliver an integrated AI stack. And as I said before, this is really about taking the innovation that we're doing for hyperscalers and bringing it to our enterprise customers. And we are doing that in close collaboration with NVIDIA. So earlier this year, we launched the Cisco Secure AI Factory with NVIDIA. This is a full-stack reference architecture that includes Cisco compute capabilities, our networking capabilities, partner storage, as well as partnership with NVIDIA. And in fact, we have built our Cisco switches so that they can actually make use of NVIDIA's Spectrum-X architecture. And we're the only non-NVIDIA networking partner to be able to do that. But we don't stop there. We've also included our observability capabilities as well as security capabilities to make sure that you have a complete solution for completely reimagining your architecture in the data center. And we've made it easy to order it and to deploy it. And we did that with AI Pods, which were just announced almost exactly 1 year ago today. And with AI Pods, you, again, have a full stack that you can purchase from Cisco with all of the necessary components based on the different inferencing workloads you need. And what's new about this is that as of just the last few weeks, you can choose to run these AI Pods either on-prem or in the cloud. So if you want to do them on-prem, you use our Intersight capability tied to Nexus Dashboard. And now with HyperFabric, you can use HyperFabric and Intersight to manage these AI Pods in the cloud. So giving you the flexibility that you need to manage your AI infrastructure however you want to manage it. But at the end of the day, what is it that's actually running on this infrastructure? It really is, think of billions of agents are going to be running on this infrastructure, trillions of tokens are going to need to be processed. And again, tokens are the new currency of AI. It's actually the new global power currency, where you're really going to be looking to get more tokens. The more you can create, the more you can process, the more you're going to be able to leverage AI for your own enterprise. And so it's really, really critical to think about strategies for generating tokens efficiently. And here's the thing. You're not going to be able to run and manage all of these tokens within a data center. They're going to have to move out of the data center and move out to the edge. Just like we've seen data centers expanding, we're going to see AI inferencing expand from data centers to the edge. And think of it in different retail or different industry use cases. In retail, for instance, you have computer vision and custom systems for customers. In healthcare, you have diagnosis and robotic surgery. In manufacturing, you have smart factory floors. And all of this is going to require a massive amount of inferencing, and you're not going to want to send it from the edge up to the data center. But here's the issue. The edge infrastructure is really lagging. You have a bunch of different products. You have a lot of different vendors, a lot of tools. It's messy. It's complex, lots of wires. And you don't have the IT staff on board to be able to handle all of the technology in all of these different locations. And we are solving for this. And this is why we're so excited to announce the Cisco Unified Edge. It is more than a server. It is a full platform for the edge. It brings together compute. It brings together storage, software, networking, security, all in an incredibly thoughtful design system that is designed for edge use cases. And let's take a look at what that means.
From factory floors to ICU wards, wherever something hums, spins, or beeps, data is born. Every byte is a breadcrumb, a clue to smarter decisions, leaner operations, even lives saved. A round trip to the cloud is possible, but some decisions can't wait. And while edge intelligence is ready, the infrastructure wasn't, until now. Introducing the Cisco Unified Edge. Not just a server, an AI-ready platform. The difference isn't subtle, it's structural. We started with compute, storage, and software, then deeply embedded networking for the next level of convergence, all in a unified chassis with 5 interchangeable sleds, so you can build for what's now and be ready for what's next. We then set a new benchmark for unified operations from the edge to the core. Zero-touch provisioning and pre-validated blueprints for speed with precision. But it's our fleet-wide operations and end-to-end observability that others simply can't match. And because we know an unprotected edge can turn advantage into exposure, we fused security in. Hardware-based protections are foundational. We then apply zero trust to every access, humans, machines, AI agents, and assess real-time identity and risk for segmentation. We even make sure your AI models don't go off script. We assembled all these pieces into a platform with one purpose: to think at the edge safely. Cisco Unified Edge. Because the edge is not the fringe, it's the front line.
All right. We're super excited about this launch. And I know I've covered a lot of ground up to now on our data center. So what we're going to do now is actually show you some demos. So Vimala and Michael are on stage. Take it away and show some cool demos.
Thanks, Jeff. Everyone, this is where the story comes to life. My name is Vimala Veerapan, and this is Michael.
Hey, everyone.
And we're here today to show you some really cool data center innovations. Let's get started. The Nexus Smart Switches are managed by Nexus Dashboard, your single pane of glass to manage and operate your data center fabrics. Let's take a closer look. Inside of Nexus Dashboard, we can see that there's a critical anomaly happening in one of my data center fabrics. As I double-click, I can see exactly where the problem is. The problem is happening between the AI pods talking to the legacy apps with the traffic going to the firewall for protection. Most data centers are designed this way, but it introduces challenges. All of the traffic hairpins to the centralized firewall, impacting performance, creating high throughput and latency issues, which you see here in orange. So let me ask you guys this question. Why send all of your east to west traffic to a centralized firewall when you can protect at the top of every rack? Well, with Nexus Smart Switches, we're bringing this to you. We're bringing to you distributed layer 4 segmentation at the top of every rack. Now, every packet on every port is protected in your data center. Let's now see how you can add a security policy to the Nexus Smart Switch. The Security Cloud Control is where you unify all your security policies for Cisco Security Solutions, third-party firewalls, as well as the Nexus Smart Switches, as you guys can see here under Type. In the center of the screen, you can see that we're already managing a third-party firewall security policy. One of the most powerful things Security Cloud Control can do is take this exact existing policy, understand the intent, and push only the needful to the Nexus Smart Switch. In just a few clicks, all done automatically. Let's head back to the Nexus dashboard to see the post results. Right away, we can see that the centralized firewall is no longer part of the east to west traffic flow. Security has moved to the top of the rack, and the policy that I just pushed is indeed working because I see that on the right-hand side, it's dropping the needful traffic. On top of this, we're giving you stellar performance of 800 gig of layer 4 segmentation throughput, microseconds of latency. And to all the network operators out there, we're giving you deeper visibility into firewall statistics that you didn't have before. We're giving you better performance, better protection, and visibility all together as one. So we just talked about protecting workloads, but what about protecting the Nexus switches themselves? Let's take a closer look. Nexus dashboard is telling me I have 3 active vulnerabilities. I can also see, as I double-click, which all of my Nexus switches are impacted by these vulnerabilities, as clearly indicated in red. When you experience such a scenario, you have far and few maintenance windows, and downtime is not an option. Here's how you stay protected with Live Protect, something only Cisco can give you. With Live Protect, in a single click, we can apply a compensating control onto all of these Nexus switches and instantaneously protect them from these vulnerabilities. Now, you still have to upgrade, but it's on your own time. The end result, no downtime, no disruption, and you stay protected. And guess what? The Smart Switch, it's right here, orderable today. The best part, you have flexibility. Turn it on in network-only mode and add security whenever you're ready. Start simple, scale fast, and stay protected. That is the power of Nexus. Now, as we head in, we just talked about how we're transforming security by detecting and defeating threats with Nexus switching. This becomes the foundation of our secure AI factory. Let's build on this. Let's add our high-density compute, our high-performance storage into one scalable system. This is what we call our Cisco AI Pod. It's definitely not this big. It's almost double the size of me, and you can find it on the showcase floor this week to explore. So once these AI pods are up and running, you're probably thinking, am I getting the best performance, and what is my real ROI? Well, that is where Splunk Observability Cloud comes into picture. Think about this as your AI command center, pulling in data from Nexus Dashboard, Intersight, and NVIDIA software, giving you real-time telemetry all in one view. And it gets better. We're giving you tokenomics. Tokenomics is the cost per token. In this example, we're running a Llama 3.1 model on this AI pod, and the cost per token is less than a penny. This is the first time we're able to give you the ability to tie in business metrics to technical outcomes, making AI no longer a black box expense. So it's one thing to understand the cost per token, but it's another to ensure that every one of those tokens behind every application prompt and response staying secure is absolutely critical for us. Let's head back into Security Cloud Control and see AI defense in action. So we understand that models are non-deterministic, but we enterprises need predictability, and that is exactly why we built AI Defense. AI Defense is continuously identifying vulnerabilities and protecting the runtime AI applications by enforcing guardrails to stop bad behavior. Let's take a closer look. Here we have a healthcare chatbot. In this chatbot, all of the entities that make up the 3 main categories of guardrails, which include security, privacy, as well as safety guardrails, are all defined by the organization. Once these guardrails are in place, behind the scenes, AI Defense is continuously monitoring all of these live AI applications and blocking any malicious prompts and unsafe responses, giving you the confidence that your AI applications, your AI models, and your AI supply chain stay protected. This is what makes Cisco's Secure AI Factory so unique. But we understand that AI doesn't just stop in the data center. Isn't that right, Michael?
That's right, Vimala. AI workloads are increasingly moving out of the data center and to the edge because for most organizations, that's where the real-world benefits of AI exist. It's where the data is created and where you need to make decisions in real time. And that's where we're taking AI next with the new Cisco Unified Edge, a platform designed for the modern edge, focusing on AI and compute, but also storage, security, and networking, all in a single modular platform. Capacity expansion is easy. If you get a new workload, you can simply add another sled, which means you can start small and scale as your organization grows. It's short depth, so it can be deployed in tight spaces. It's got larger fans, so it makes less noise. It has a pretty cool party trick where you can lift the fans upwards, so if you're mounting the device close against a wall, you can get access to the fans. It has internal networks, so the nodes can talk to each other without any cables. It's designed for high temperatures, and has an optional security bezel that's lockable, which means your physical platforms can now be secured just like your digital ones are. But how do we solve the challenges of deploying to remote locations at scale, places that often don't have technical staff present? Well, it's easy with Cisco Intersight. We can see here the Intersight mobile app, but we have a new feature where we can give temporary access to a staff member to onboard devices. So at a remote site, we can have a non-technical staff member receive the device. So if you pull out their mobile phone, they can push claim, tap the front of the box that has an inbuilt NFC chip, and the device is onboarded. That person can now go back to their day job, and with no technical staff and no truck rolls, we've gone from unboxing to online in minutes instead of days. So what happens next? We can see here in Intersight, we've got a blank chassis that's just been brought in, and it's automatically begun its configuration process. If we go in a little bit further, we can see more information about the device. We can see that it's currently building. And if I go into configuration, we can see that it's deploying Red Hat, Windows, and system configuration information like IP addresses and VLANs. And if we go back to the main view, we can see now that deployment's finished. The configuration is now conformant with the rest of the fleet, meaning it has a unified configuration. So we've gone from onboarding a completely blank device to a production-ready device, from start to finish, completely zero touch. But how do we do it? We use the new Cisco Intersight Fleet Management, a primary component of which is called a workload definition that includes things like Cisco pre-tested and pre-validated blueprints, configuration elements, and variable pools that together form a desired configuration end state for any devices that have this definition applied. And this isn't just hardware configurations. This is hypervisors, operating systems, applications, all the settings for those. All of them can be defined inside a single workload definition, and then that applied to hundreds or even thousands of different devices, which gives a huge amount of scale and means that across my entire fleet, I can have a uniform configuration. And we can also leverage this for day two operations. So let's say we have a security concern, and I want to upgrade the firmware across the fleet. Now, anyone who's ever managed a large server fleet before, such as myself, knows that something like this can be a complete pain. It can take weeks, particularly around scheduling outages. But with fleet management, we can get rid of all of that. I can simply go into the workload definition that's version controlled. I can create a new version. I can see the different elements that I can change, including the firmware package. I can select the new package. I can go through. I can see a summary of the changes to be made, and I can go to validate that configuration. I can choose to deploy to a subset of sites if I want to do a test, or I can deploy to the fleet. In this case, I deploy to the fleet. It's now validated. It's been pushed out to the whole fleet. And if we go back to the global view, we can see that update automatically processing on each site across the entire fleet. Now, each site will only begin updating as its update window opens, and that window can be configured down to the per site level based off things like time zones. So each site will only update when it's best for that particular site to do so we have no unexpected outages or traffic interruptions. So with just one, by modifying just one workload definition, I updated the firmware across the entire fleet, but I could have just as easily deployed an application, an update, a security fix, or even a whole operating system, all from within that workload definition, and I haven't had to log into a single remote site. Now, what you're seeing here with the hardware and software is just a part of the new Cisco Unified Edge. It's available to order now, with deliveries beginning in December. If you have any questions, we'll be available on the show floor throughout Cisco Live. We'll also have a unit there which you can pod and poke and move things in and out. Just please don't break it, because I've been waiting about 9 months to finally get one, and I need it after the show. But apart from that, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the show, and back to Jeff.
Awesome. Thank you, Vimala and Michael. All right, so I hope you see how we are reimagining data center architectures for agentic AI and how key this is to our overall product strategy. What I'd like to do now is shift gears and talk about the next pillar of our strategy, which is future-proof workplaces. And as I said at the beginning, you think of a workplace as very broadly. It's an office, it's a branch, it's a home, a car, a factory, a hospital, a stadium. It's anywhere that your employees are working, connecting with customers, connecting with patients, or whoever they serve. And we think in the agentic AI era, the workplace is going to change dramatically. You are going to see agents being run by employees on desktops and servers in the office. You are going to see robotics, both custom-built or purpose-built robotics, as well as humanoids, a plethora of sensors and IoT that enters the workplace. You have new collaboration requirements, power requirements, as well as an ongoing set of new security threats that you're going to have to handle. And so our strategy here is, again, three things. First, modernize campus and branch infrastructure. Second, fuse security into the network. And third, deliver on the promise of AI experiences. And so again, let's walk through each of these in a little bit more detail. And at Cisco Live in June, we made a number of really significant announcements when it comes to our campus and branch networking and connectivity capabilities. First was the unified cloud management capability with enterprise features. And what we have done is worked very, very hard to bring together all of the different operating systems on our devices and allow you to manage all the different systems that we have via the cloud and expose the enterprise features so that you don't have to choose between on-prem and cloud for some of those features. We also announced the notion of agentic ops, and this is really the next evolution beyond AI ops, where we can take cross-domain information from networking and security and applications and collaboration and start to bring them together with a generative UI where humans are collaborating with agents, and you can actually, as well as other humans, and you can see agents as well collaborating with other agents to help you troubleshoot and understand what's happening in your environment faster and better than ever before. And this is a real game changer, and you're going to see this throughout the rest of this presentation as well. We also announced the largest refresh of secure, scalable devices ready for AI in Cisco history. So we announced smart switches for our campus and branch environments as well. We announced a new set of secure routers. We announced a campus gateway, firewalls. We expanded on the announcements from last year that were done here on Wi-Fi 7 and created and launched several new form factors of Wi-Fi 7. And we announced the revamp of our industrial IoT capabilities. And these are particularly critical because in a world of agentic AI, we think the form factors where you're going to need to have networking are going to dramatically change. You're going to have it on robots. You're going to have it in environments that are extremely dry or extremely wet. And you're going to need to have the confidence of a different type of a system to do that. And I'm really excited that in this last week, we have announced a further expanded lineup of these devices. So several new form factors of our Cisco 8000 routers, new form factors of our Wi-Fi 7 access points, and a wireless controller. So we've continued the momentum here, and you should expect to see a continued pace of innovation as we roll out our new devices, all on a unified architecture, all with cloud management capability. But we are also super focused on operational simplicity and continuing to drive that because we know we've heard loud and clear from you that this is something you've asked for. So I'm also incredibly excited to announce a few new capabilities within our cloud management console. First, you can now get a single view into the Meraki dashboard as well as Catalyst Center, all from the cloud. So for those of you who are still running Catalyst on-prem and Meraki in the cloud, you can now see all of this, see your networks in a global view. We've also expanded cloud management to our modular switches. So in June, we announced that for fixed switches, now we've expanded it to our larger modular switches. And we've expanded our capability for doing cloud-managed network fabrics. So now, as you expand your networking capability and you add new devices to your network, they can auto-configure and be available to you in the cloud to manage. So again, significant momentum in driving more operational simplicity for you and more choice to move to the cloud. And we're not stopping there. The other big area of simplicity that we've heard from you is in the area of branch deployments. And so we were incredibly excited in June to launch the Cisco Unified Branch. And today that is now available. And what does that include? It includes a few different things. First, we now have Cisco validated designs that help you understand how to best configure branch locations that contain both routing, switching, and wireless, all in a single reference architecture and unified design. So we're bringing all of that together and making it easier for you to understand how to configure your branch locations. We've also added agentic workflows. So when you have complex or repetitive tasks that need to be done, you can now use the Cisco AI Assistant to automate that for you. You can talk in plain language and have it do these tasks. So for example, if you need to configure a SysID for 1,000 retail locations, you can now do that through our AI Assistant, through agentic workflows. And we've also enabled what we call branches code. And this is for our customers who want to be able to deploy branch configurations using code and our APIs and do it. And many of you are managed service providers. It's incredibly important for a managed service provider. But any organization that's looking to deploy branches using more of a DevOps type process, this is for you. And again, incredibly excited about the innovation here that we're bringing. And again, you will see from us continuous momentum in driving simplicity in how you manage your campus and branch infrastructure. But now I want to talk about the next part of our strategy in Workplace, and that is, again, fusing security into the network. Just like in data center, we know that the security threats are going to become greater and greater, and you need to have we do not believe you can be thinking about networking and security as separate things. And so in the workplace, especially in the agentic era, there are a couple key things that we think you have to be aware of. So first, you need protection of the infrastructure and the devices themselves, as well as data in transit. And this is for things like tampering, for post-quantum, and being able to handle security issues much faster than ever before. You also need access control and segmentation for the things that go on the network. Think about things like identity and posture assessment and policy that determines what can go on your network and what it can talk to once it is on your network. You need secure connectivity for people and things and agents and all the things that are accessing resources once they are connected to your network. And you need to be able to protect all the different workloads and things that sit on the network from outside attack and rogue behavior. So all of these things are areas where you need to be focused on from a security perspective as you add more and more users and devices and things to your network. And that's why we have been focusing on a platform approach to driving comprehensive workplace security. And we actually call this secure networking, so bringing all of this together. So think about the secure infrastructure. All the devices that we've been launching all have post-quantum capabilities. They all have the tampering protection capabilities that I just talked about. You have identity-based segmentation capabilities from Cisco that allow you to control what goes on the network and do automatic segmentation, even quarantine if you need to. We talked earlier about the hybrid mesh firewall and how that helps you protect against traffic, against rogue traffic issues and things that are trying to attack your users or your workloads on the network. And then we also have what we call zero trust access. And this is our way of protecting users and things and agents once they actually get on your network and start to try to access workloads and resources. And I want to dive into this last one a little bit more because it's an area that we've been doing in a massive amount of innovation, and it's, I think, important for you to understand all the different capabilities that have come through, as well as how our security and networking are working together to achieve this. So think about zero trust access as being a single layer, a single security platform that allows you to protect every device, every user, everything that gets on the network. And we have comprehensive identity authentication capability as well as continuous identity verification. And why is that important? Because the vast majority of attacks these days are actually identity-based attacks. People will get your credentials, get into your systems, and it's only by behavioral analysis that you'll understand that it is actually not who they say they were. So we have that built into the platform. And then, because of our tight ties to the network, we are able to do all the plumbing. So no matter what kind of application you're trying to access, a traditional application, a SaaS application, an application behind your firewall, we know how to best do that connection over the network and optimize the experience. We're also able to apply consistent security to this whole process. So through our secure access product, working with our SD-WANs, we're able to have a single set of policies around everything from firewalling to data protection and even AI defense. So what you saw earlier with AI defense and protecting models, we can also apply AI defense to protect users and ensure that they're not getting harmful content, information from AI, and make sure that they're not accessing AI systems that they shouldn't be accessing. And that's all built into the Secure Access product. And then finally, because we have integrated with ThousandEyes, we can give you data on the experience your users are seeing, and we can tell you whether or not an issue is a security issue or a networking issue, and we could even assess a policy before it gets pushed to help understand if a policy configuration error is going to cause an experience problem. So all of this is now tied together in a single platform, utilizing all the different components of Cisco, both across our networking capabilities and our security capabilities to deliver this holistic solution. But again, why do we connect people and why do we secure? Because we need to deliver great experiences for all of our employees and all the people that they serve. And so a few weeks ago at WebEx1, we announced a concept called connected intelligence. And this is a sort of very revolutionary way that we are thinking about how people and people will collaborate in the future, how people and AI will collaborate in the future, and even how AI and AI will collaborate together, how agents will work together to solve problems on our behalf. And it was an incredibly exciting couple of days. I urge you all to go and watch the keynote to see all of the different announcements, but we put together a quick reel to show you some of the excitement that we saw a few weeks ago. All right, got a woo. All right, well, we are doing, I think, a ton of exciting things, and what better way to show that to you than to actually do some more demos. So welcome Michael and Ryan on stage to give some demos.
Thank you, Jeff. Hello, Cisco Live Melbourne. This is very exciting for Ryan and I, a little bit terrifying too, but very exciting. You just saw some amazing features and innovative things that we have launched that Jeff talked about. Ryan and I are going to show those live on stage right now with working code. So on behalf of Ryan and I, please cross your fingers, knock on wood, quick prayer to the demo gods. We're going to show you three things. We're going to show you unified management, enterprise features delivered from the cloud, and automation through agentic ops. We got a bunch of great Cisco hardware on stage with us. Let's start with our laptop. We got it up here on the big screen. And we can see that Ryan's already logged into the Meraki dashboard. Now, if you haven't used the Meraki dashboard before, when you log in, you end up on our global overview page. So single page, you can see all your Meraki organizations that you have deployed. Now, for those of you that have used the dashboard before, you can see this looks a little different. First off, it's in dark mode. We released that just last week, so you can go to your profile in the upper right-hand corner, switch between light and dark themes. But also, if we look closer, we see what Jeff was talking about. Not only do I see my cloud deployments that I use the Meraki dashboard to deploy, I also see my Catalyst Center site. So it is a true global overview. I can see the health and status of my entire network. If there's a warning or an error for an access point, let's say something I deployed on Catalyst Center, if I click on that, I'll go straight to that specific page on Catalyst Center. I don't have to log in again thanks to SSO. Now, Ryan, I know we deployed our stuff through the dashboard, and you wanted to talk a little bit about our switching infrastructure.
We did, Michael. Thank you for having me. My name's Ryan, and I want to take a bit of a deep dive into some of the infrastructure we've got right on stage here. Starting with our Cisco C9350 Smart Switch, powered by Silicon One. And we know this is running iOS XE, and that's a powerful combination. But in addition, we got something a bit special here. it's being orchestrated and automated by Cloud Dashboard. So let's bring up our switches page here, where we can see all of our live infrastructure, including our 9200s, our 9300s, and our 9350 right here. I'm going to jump into the 9350 to the switching page, where we can see some of the great visibility Dashboard gives us, including our port status, a bunch of telemetry information, and information about how this is configured. Now, I'm going to click on an individual port here, Michael. Port 1, we can see our configuration, all our client telemetry, and it actually looks like we have an interesting camera connected here.
That's right, Ryan. So if we follow your cord here over, we see it's connected to the Cisco Room Vision PTZ camera. Now, this is our latest camera from the collaboration business unit, and it's our first PTZ camera that supports AV over IP. That means not only are we getting power with PoE from your switch, Ryan, not only are we sending camera control commands and firmware upgrades to the camera, but on that same single cable, we're sending very high quality, lowly compressed video back through your switch, and in this case, onto the beautiful Cisco Board Pro 75G2. Now you can tell just by looking at the interface that this Board Pro is in Microsoft Teams Room mode, or MTR mode for short, just highlighting our commitment to meet our customers on their preferred collaboration solution. I want to go full screen here and demonstrate some of the really cool features we have with the pan tilt zoom. Actually, I'm going to go back to the exit here. We have one of our TMEs way back there in the theater. Mao, give us a wave from the back if you can. Thank you, Mao. He set up all this equipment, an amazing TME, rock star. We've got our production team, one of our camera techs there. Andrew, big wave. I'm shaking the camera just by walking around here. Let's go back here. This camera has 60 times zoom. That's 12x optical zoom coupled with 5x digital zoom. It's also packed with AI capabilities for things like people detection. So really cool collaboration features. I know you want to talk about enterprise features delivered from the cloud.
That's right, Michael. And so we've got our hardware, our software, and the cloud working seamlessly together. But what other possibilities does that provide? And to demonstrate that, we want to talk about something brand new, and that's cloud-delivered fabric. Now, if you're not familiar with fabric technologies, they're a way we build a full mesh, like threads of a fabric, between nodes on the network to give us some great outcomes like resiliency, redundancy, scale, but most importantly, segmentation and security. Now, the problem with the fabrics is they can be a bit tricky to deploy, so let's take a look at how Dashboard can help. We're going to click on the Create a New Fabric button here, and we're going to get everything we need to build a new fabric from scratch. We're going to put in our underlay IP addressing. We're going to define our secure subnets here for our segmentation. And we're going to click Deploy. Now, Dashboard is going to build individual configurations for all the nodes on the network, push them out, and bring our fabric online, which is pretty powerful stuff. Almost as importantly as deploying a fabric is obviously operating one. So let's take a look at a fabric that we deployed earlier, right here in Dashboard. We can see all the telemetry here in Dashboard about how this fabric is performing, including our statistics and even the individual nodes that are participating in this fabric. And we can get a topology view live in Dashboard of how this one's laid out.
I love how powerful this architecture is, and it's simplified so much. I know you're going to go deeper, too, with CLI, right?
That's right. If you're a network engineer at heart like me, you'll know that dashboards are great, but we also need a little bit more detail. So let's show how we can jump directly from Dashboard into the terminal CLI. So I'm going to select Border 2 here, Border 1, pardon me, jump into the CLI, or jump into this switch page, select Cloud CLI, and we're going to launch the terminal here. Now, once this is loaded up, we can put in more detailed commands, such as show NVE peers, and that's going to give us some extra information about the threads of our fabric and how this mesh is performing. Now, we're not going to stop there because the secret's out, and this is iOS XE in the cloud, and we're actually going to unlock, and you'll have to look closely here, I might zoom in actually, configuration mode for a fully managed cloud switch. This gives us access to features that aren't even available in Dashboard yet.
That's really cool stuff, Ryan. So, before we kind of had to make the choice, right? We either get the powerful control and granularity of CLI, or we get the ease of deployment with the cloud, but this is really the best of both worlds. Really cool kind of hands-off feature there, or hands-on feature, I should say. I want to talk about hands-on stuff, though. I want hands-off. I'm getting mixed up. I want to talk about automation, actually. And by automation, we're actually going to use some equipment here we haven't even addressed yet. So to my left, your right, we have a full network stack here. We have the new secure router, that's the 8455G2. We have a 9200 switch, a Wi-Fi 7 access point. We also have a collaboration with the Desk Mini And Ryan, I know there's an error code on there. What's that say?
No network connectivity.
Yeah, that's to be expected. So we did not set this up beforehand because we wanted to show off how quickly we could configure this even when we're on stage and the clock is running. So historically, how we would do this is we'd go to a search engine, right? Maybe we'd Google, how do I deploy an entire branch site per Cisco best practices? But this is the age of agentic ops. So let's launch our AI assistant that's right here in Dashboard. And this is available to everyone in this room. We launched this just a couple weeks ago. So I open up the AI assistant, and I'm going to ask it not just how do I deploy an entire unified branch site, I'm going to ask it, can it do it for me? Even better, can it do it per Cisco validated design best practices? So the AI assistant is looking through all of its collateral and knowledge base articles. In this case, it has responded and said, hey, I found a workflow. I can do this automation and do this work for you. Now, if you're not familiar with Cisco workflows, I don't blame you. We just launched this as well about a month ago, right? Early October. Workflows is Cisco's home-built automation engine. Just like the AI assistant, it resides within Dashboard, so I don't have to go anywhere else. And since in this case, the AI assistant is going to invoke a workflow to make changes, and we always want to keep a human in the loop, it will check one more time. Are you sure you want me to do this for you? And I said yes. Now it's going to deploy a full unified branch site per CVD best practices. That means it's going to set up firewall rules, VLANs, DHCP scope, SSIDs on the access point. It's going to take about a minute to run for that. I want to hop over. You can see on the left-hand side now, we now have an automation menu. This is Cisco workflows. And within this, I can go to the Exchange. These are Cisco-provided workflows you could use right now. You could copy them, edit them, or you could build a workflow from scratch. It's a very simple drag-and-drop interface. Oh, we're in light mode here. Let's switch to dark. Looks a little nicer. And you can see here, this is an example of the workflow we're running right now and all the steps it's doing for us. So let's go back to the AI assistant. I see the status seems to be going good so far. Now, if we did this manually, Ryan and I would be jumping between dozens of pages, right? The wireless config settings, the router settings, switch settings. It would take us hours if we knew what we were doing, maybe even longer if we didn't know what we were doing. So it's come back here, and thankfully it looks like everything completed successfully. So just like that, in less than a minute, we deployed an entire network stack. That's routing, switching, wireless. We did that through the AI assistant using Cisco workflows. We got the Desk Mini obviously registered and making live calls here, all in probably about 45 seconds. And the most amazing thing is we were hands-off for that. That was automation, and that's showing the power of the Cisco platform and the power of agentic ops. Folks, thank you for your attention. We really appreciate the opportunity up here. Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael and Ryan. I love a live call on stage. And by the way, I would be remiss to not point out that the dashboard was in dark mode. So, we love that innovation. So hopefully you can all see we are thinking about how we bring our entire portfolio together to reimagine the workplace for the agentic era and think about it more broadly than just any of the individual components, but as full solutions. So with that, I'd like to turn to the last section of the presentation and talk about the third pillar of our strategy for digital resilience. And as we said before, when you have an issue, you oftentimes don't know what the issue is. You don't know whether it's an infrastructure problem, whether it's a security attack, and you probably have multiple teams all working on the problem simultaneously and not making progress. And this is getting harder and harder because complexity creates an immense amount of risk. Again, our technology infrastructures today are running across infrastructure that you own, infrastructure that you don't own, and there are security and performance issues that can happen anywhere in that cycle. And we believe fundamentally that digital resilience is a data problem. We have the telemetry. If we look across our infrastructure and we look across our security products and we look across our applications, we have all the telemetry that is needed to come together to solve for this problem. And this is why we believe Splunk is such a strategic part of the Cisco portfolio. We have simply unmatched ability to solve this problem. When you think about bringing together network telemetry, infrastructure, applications, operational data, user and device information, as well as security telemetry, all in one place. And so, again, we have a three-part strategy for digital resilience. First, we need to basically allow you to operate on machine data at ludicrous scale. And this is not massive scale. We use the term on purpose, ludicrous scale, because we think the amount of data that you're going to have to deal with in the agentic era is just massive. So second, you need to unlock your proprietary data for AI. And third, we need to reimagine observability and security with AI. And so again, let's talk about each one of these particular areas. And so first, let's talk about data. Splunk, this has always been a Splunk superpower. There are over 2,000 integrations with third-party providers of data that can come into Splunk and be automatically correlated, and you can understand linkages between that data like you could never before. And over the last year, we have been innovating to bring the Cisco portfolio even closer to the Splunk portfolio. So on the security side, massive amount of data from our security products that can now go into Splunk. It's like our XDR products and all of our different protection products. You can now send high quality signal into the Splunk products to help you with even better detections. And we also do Talos threat intelligence. So bringing that in side by side with all the other data that you're collecting from all your other sources. We've also integrated Splunk with our networking portfolio. So across the board, we have better data than ever before from our networking portfolio, and including ThousandEyes, that can go into Splunk to help provide all the context you need to solve problems. And one of the things that we're doing is continuously looking on how we can create even more of a platform advantage. So one of the things we were incredibly excited to launch a few weeks ago is free Cisco firewall ingest into Splunk. So think about now, if you have Cisco firewalls, all of the logs on those firewalls can go into Splunk for free, and you get new detections and automated workflows as a result. And so this is a great example of where we want to really drive a platform advantage of having multiple products across our portfolio and actually have a compounding effect as you bring those products online. But what's better than ingest what's better than free ingest? It would be no ingest. And so that's why we have been super focused on what we call federated search and analytics, being able to effectively bring Splunk to your data and actually do the analytics where that data resides and not have to move the data. So Splunk has been doing this for a long time with the Splunk repositories, and it's expanded into AWS and at Microsoft Azure. Just a few weeks ago at .conf, we announced integration with Snowflake. And you should expect over the next couple of quarters to see more and more integration between the Splunk portfolio and the Cisco portfolio, so that Cisco portfolio, or Cisco telemetry within our portfolio, is available to Splunk without having to ingest it. Now, the second part of the strategy is around, now, once you have all of this data in Splunk, how do you unlock the value of that data for AI? And our firm belief is that your data is your moat. And what that means is whether it's telemetry that helps you understand how to operate your organization better, or whether it's business data, you need to figure out how to unlock that value and do it in new and innovative ways. And so how are we helping you do that? We are doing that by effectively teaching AI to speak machine data. And if you think about, again, how AI works today, you can break up a human sentence into multiple tokens or words. What we are able to do is take time series data, break it up into small chunks, and train AI into how to speak the language of that time series data. And when you do that, you can now have agentic systems start looking across multiple time series flows and start to literally see what you couldn't see before. You can start to see a butterfly effect, where even a very small impact on one system has a much larger impact down the road on another system. And so all of this is unlocked by teaching Splunk how to speak machine data. And there are two particular innovations that drive that. First, a new Cisco time series model, which is a model that we are going to release on Hugging Face. It's open source. It's going to be released later this month. And you can use this model to train your own models on your own proprietary machine data. And we've also announced a machine data lake available in alpha later in February of next year, where you can take all this learning and bring it all together into one single data lake that make it available for your agentic systems. And so these are really critical innovations that we're doing to help you bring all this machine data that you have in your organization to life. But all of this then requires you to drive an outcome. And so that's where the last part of the strategy is so important, where we are reimagining observability and security with AI. So one area in particular is agentic observability. So our observability suite now has agentic capabilities. Think about an AI troubleshooting agent that can automatically sift through information at massive scale, give you recommendations, even start to solve problems for you, all in plain language and getting you that kind of the information you need to more rapidly respond to problems in your applications and your infrastructure. We're also continuing to advance our agentic security operations capabilities. So again, with our market-leading SIEM product, you now have something like, you now have, for example, a triage agent that allows you to evaluate different alerts and reduce alert fatigue by prioritizing which alerts need to be looked at, giving SOC analysts all the information they need so that they can focus on their highest priorities and not do any of the menial work that they normally have to do. And again, you can expect both on observability and security for us to continue adding agentic capabilities to help all of you do your jobs much more efficiently. But that's not all. The AI Canvas capability that we launched at Cisco Live and that you even saw earlier is being integrated throughout our entire portfolio, and Splunk is no exception. So we are bringing the power of agentic ops directly into Splunk, and you'll see that everywhere that you integrate with Cisco data. And so again, rather than go through a whole lot of slides, I'm proud to welcome Craig on stage to show you a demo.
Thanks, Jeff. Really appreciated. Hello, Cisco Melbourne. I'm going to play the role of a security analyst. As you can see here on the left-hand side, I have my AI assistant ready and raring to help me. My AI assistant's already rendered my network tile, my network activity tile, onto my canvas. I've come into AI Canvas due to an anomalous network activity. So let's start by asking the assistant, sorry. Is there any correlation to the login events at that time? So what's going to happen now is the AI assistant's going to go off and look for any log-on events that happened at the time that the network activity was detected. So it will come and render, hopefully, a new tile, which it will render a new tile. So it's also come back and showed me the same time frame, and it's rendered that, but it's shown me no really anomalous activity. There's no real alerts, no real events at all. But my trusty AI assistant has gone one step ahead, and it's gone and interrogated the Cisco data fabric. And what it's done is it's gone and pulled all the relevant information from the Meraki network and put it on a tile. Now, this is all generative. I haven't done anything. This is auto-populated. All of these tiles are built out themselves. But as you can see on the network map, there's nothing really onerous. There's no errors, no alerts there. So maybe there's a user issue. So as the AI assistant on the left-hand side has suggested, put a few suggestions, let's have a look at the user behind this anomalous network activity. So what that's going to do as well, and it's going to go and find all users that were active on that network at this one time. So also remembering too that every one of these tiles is fully customizable. You can move them, change them, move them up and down, resize them. So as you can see, the AI assistant's come back with a new tile, and it's actually shown a bit of a spike for a particular user called Andrew L. Hopefully there's no Andrew L's in the room. But Andrew L seems to have been up to no good, doing something. So let's click on Andrew L in that bar graph. And as you can see here, the entire network lights up like a Christmas tree. So what we might do is have a more deeper dive into what commands Andrew L was executing on the network. So again, this is fully customizable. The screen it'll be going back and looking for all commands that were executed. So it's fully integrated into Splunk. So it'll be searching in Splunk databases. And as you can see, it's come back that the curl.exe command was executed on the user's system. For those who know what that is, that's copying data externally. So one would suggest that's not a good thing that Andrew L was doing. So what we've done, our trusty AI assistant on the left-hand side is stepping us through and helping us through this whole journey. It's in essence saying to us, create an alert. That sounds a pretty good idea. So let's create an, whoops, I've got that. Let's create an alert to detect this behavior. So what it's going to do, it's going to log into Splunk and it's going to create that alert. Very, very quickly, that alert has been created. Now I can open that alert in Splunk search if I want to. I can have a look at all the SPL in any of these searches. So as you can see, you don't have to be an SPL expert. You don't need to understand SPL, but you can have a look at it if you want to look at any of these searches. So are we finished there? So probably not just yet. So as the assistants also stated, we should invite an expert in to block the IP address. So if we do that, we immediately turn this into dual player mode. So AI Assistant has the ability to invite other people in to help resolve your problem. So there's so many people to choose from. I'm going to invite Darren, and I'm going to hit the Generate AI Summary button, and I'm going to invite Darren. Now, Darren could be in your organisation, he could be externally. It just so happens Darren is behind stage helping me. So if we give Darren applause, that'd be fantastic. And there's Darren. So Darren's already joined the session. We're playing Cursor Chasey. You can see the cursor moving around. So Darren, as you can see up the top here as well, Darren has joined. So he has joined my canvas, and Darren is now working on blocking that IP address. So he'll be executing the commands that he needs. So there you go. So he has immediately blocked that IP address. All happen within a single canvas, within a single framework, within a single tool. Problem rectified, problem resolved. But are we done? Not completely. One of the biggest problems that security analysts hate is incident reports. So anyone that's a security analyst would know just writing reports is tedious. What we could do here is generate a report. Automatically, AI will create a report for us at some point. And what that does is it takes out all errors, all problems, formats consistently. It enables consistent incident management practices across your organisation. But more importantly, it provides table of contents, conclusion, recommendation, and allows you to download it as a PDF and copy it into your incident management platform. So from problem detection to problem resolution in a collaborative dual player mode, that is AI Canvas. Back to you, Jeff.
All right. Special round of applause for Craig. Thank you. I said at the beginning that digital resilience is a data problem, and I can tell you with actual data that was a server problem and not a networking problem that caused that to happen. And you can also see how quickly they responded. So I think we got a really good demo of digital resilience right there in addition to AI Canvas. Anyway, I hope you could see that how excited we are about what we're doing around digital resilience and being the machine data fabric for agentic AI. And also, I hope you got a sense from this presentation of how excited we are about what we're doing in the innovation world and how we are critical infrastructure for the AI era. Now, you've seen a lot of technology and innovation here, but the reality is none of this will help you unless you can adopt this technology and be successful with it and drive outcomes. And that's where the Cisco CX organization comes into play. And without any further ado, I'd like to bring on stage somebody who really needs no introduction to all of you, our head of Cisco CX and APJC, Jackie G. Take it away.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for being here. I'm excited. Thank you for your trust, thank you for your loyalty, and in particular, thank you for your feedback. You're going to see that we've taken it really seriously in the last 12 months or so. So I want to start by saying that as we've gone through the data centers and the future-proof workplaces and digital resilience, we know that it's not always that easy. You need to make sure you're getting value from the investments you're making with us at Cisco. We want to make sure you also adopt our technology as fast as possible. And by the way, what you've told us is that our customers, you're demanding something entirely different. You want a different CX to show up. You want predictive, not just reactive. You want hyper-personalization, not generic solutions. That's what you keep telling us. And you want speed with trust. You want simplicity without compromise. And with all of the discussion on AI, we know that it's raised the bar so high that the old playbooks that we've had, they no longer apply. So what are we doing? Our vision is simple. We want every Cisco interaction to be personalized, to be proactive, to be predictive, and you're going to see some of that. We want to bring AI to life, and we have real use cases. We also want to make sure that you know that what we are building is in response to what you've asked for every interaction to have the context and the history and the learnings, so when you come back to us, we already know what to expect. We're not just fixing problems, we're actually working on preventing them before they happen. And we want to anticipate your need. And by the way, I started with that. We've heard your feedback. What did you say to us last year? You said we want a simpler CX. We want you to show up, and we want to be able to do business with you in a much easier way. So, what did we do? We simplified our portfolio. It's now one portfolio. Cisco Support with 3 tiers: Standard, Enhanced, and Signature. That's it. I know 3 or so years ago when I took on this role, you kept telling me, why is it so complicated? Why are there hundreds of offers? 3. Standard, Enhanced, Signature for support, and we have subscription and transactional for professional services. When you want Cisco skin in the game to help you design and get ready for a large-scale implementation with our partner, we're here for you. Now, this is the really exciting part. Underpinning our offers, underpinning what we're here to do for you, we have our new digital AI interface that we announced last week. The global team are in the audience. CX, raise your hands. We're excited. Let's roll the video so you can see what this looks like, and it's real. It's now live. Thank you.
AI is evolving the IT landscape. That's why we built Cisco IQ, an enhanced customer interface where AI-driven systems and human expertise unite to accelerate your entire technology lifecycle. From planning to deployment, operations, and beyond, Cisco IQ powers support and professional services, helping you accelerate time to value and drive continuous innovation. It maximizes IT value with radically personalized insight, aligning every action to outcomes that move your business forward. Predict and prevent issues before they impact you. Benchmark transformation progress. Optimize continuously, so you always know where you stand and where to go next. Cisco IQ. Personalized, proactive, predictive.
All right, round of applause for I know it looks simple, and friends of mine often say, who've been in the industry as long as I have, 35 years, it's the boring stuff that is hard to do. So this is what we're bringing to you. Imagine being able to be predictive about your asset insights. Imagine AI-powered troubleshooting. Imagine infrastructure assessments that you can just do with your fingertips. Not manually, not physically, but you can do it with the power of AI and the install base that we understand very well. That's our goal, is to prevent outages. No one wants outages, and they always remember us for it. That's what we're popular for. We don't want outages. We want to prevent them before they happen. We want to leverage agentic AI, and we're doing it seriously in CX, but we're doing it with human expertise because we have to. We have to always have that human in the loop. Now, I always love examples. You know I love examples. So to bring it to life, I want to introduce one of our customers who's been on the leading edge of driving transformation and has trusted us in Cisco to do that with them. LTI Mindtree. Let's listen to their story.
Overnight, our workforce doubled to 80,000 people. We needed a partner to simplify and build resilience, and that was Cisco. We began day one working with Cisco services.
Cisco Secure Access was the solution across every user. Every one of the 80,000 seats included Cisco Thousand Eyes. This gave us immediate visibility of our new security infrastructure, literally as it rolled out.
90 days later, it was done. It was very impressive.
We then lent on Cisco Capital to allow us to innovate broadly and rapidly. We transformed over 1,000 rooms. Room usage rose 119% as spaces became smarter.
And today, just 60 people are needed to support a future-proofed workplace for 80,000. We began this journey with a test to see if Cisco could do one thing. Now we know they are capable of many things, but with one clear objective in mind, driving value for us and for our customers.
It's my absolute pleasure to introduce Rajesh Kumar, CIO of LTIMindtree, embracing what I would say is one of the most ambitious technology transformations in Asia Pacific. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. And by the way, just yesterday he received the CX Visionary Workplace Award. And I also want to congratulate, I think, all of our customer award winners over here. Round of applause, wave. Congratulations on being our winners. We know what it takes. It takes a lot. So welcome, Rajesh. Thank you for being here with me.
Great to be here. What amazing keynote from Ben and Jeff. Whoa, what technologies are unbelievable, unbelievable. I hope that whole thing was not scripted, it was real, that AI was able to recover so quickly. Fantastic, fantastic.
I think that was a pretend outage, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it might have been,
Yes.
But look, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
really
such an honor to receive the award, and that truly reflects our fantastic partnership, Jackie.
Yes, no, it does, it does. We are very humbled to be part of your journey. So let's start there. What drove LTIMindtree to partner with Cisco?
Jackie, the goal was really to build a resilient, secure, and scalable technology backbone for our 80,000 employees spread across over 100 locations, serving our 700+ customers, right? And in addition to that, we wanted simplicity, consistency, and speed. With Cisco, that's exactly what we have achieved. Thank you.
Excellent. I did not ask him to say that, by the way. All right, let's talk about some of the biggest challenges you face, because you make it sound easy, but I understand the scale and complexity, the team were involved. Like, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced, if you can share that?
Scale and complexity was quite significant, actually. So we have a vast global network spread across the world and catering to our 80,000 employees, and we needed to modernize, secure, and unify them without business skipping a heartbeat. So that was the challenge. And we needed a trusted partner who brought together networking, security, observability, collaboration, all under one consistent framework. And we turned towards Cisco CX, and they were able to design this roadmap and execute it effectively. And that reminds me, Jackie, in last year on this very stage, you were telling something, I was sitting probably a few rows down there. You said one of your customers was able to know when an issue happens immediately, and they were able to fix it even before the first person picks up the phone and calls. That's exactly where we wanted to be, and that's exactly the journey we are on to.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm glad you remembered that quote. Yeah, preventing the issues before they happen. And I think, look, no one wants an outage. I mentioned that before. It's very, very critical that we get in front of that, especially with the importance of the critical infrastructure that we are responsible for across, Asia Pacific, Japan, China, and the entire world. Let's maybe switch to another part of this. Now, getting off legacy infrastructure is not easy. I have also done it many times, like many of us around the room, and it brings risks. And we always hesitate, but it is necessary, I think, for the future, because we don't want to be sitting on that legacy. Now, you did this, right? Secure access. He did this in 90 days. So we want to understand, how did you do it?
Dr. Jackie, what an incredible 90 days it was. So we replaced this secure access solution in just 90 days. We replaced something that was there for over a decade. And that was really the complexities. It all started like this, right? We needed to integrate a whole lot of things, Meraki and Catalyst networks and Wi-Fi and SD-WANs. And we brought in ThousandEyes. And ThousandEyes brought in visibility, and it provided our ability to see things before they actually happened, right? So what was happening is we are able to collect the data and trace the causes and act swiftly to fix them all with ThousandEyes. And this is what I tell my team, right? When we went through this 90 days experience and we actually achieved it, the network should be invisible. What I mean by this is network should be like air. We just breathe it. We don't think about it. That's exactly the reliability that we wanted to achieve.
Yeah. I mean, I always admire Rajesh because he makes it sound so cool, right? So, and no one, I mean, how many times did you actually get thanked for doing something incredible in 90 days? Not very often, but so Rajesh, I mean, round of applause.
Thank you.
You make it sound very easy, but I know how difficult it was. And I think it's important for us to, really understand what you've done in terms of the foundation, the simplicity, the resiliency that you've built into your network, because yes, we know when it doesn't work, everyone notices. So tell us about how AI is changing the way that your teams work.
Yes. AI is a priority for us. I'm sure it is a priority for all the CAOs here and the CAOs out there, right? AI is important for everyone. AI is already making a lot of difference to us. For instance, AI assistants in IT ops are automating the routine tasks. It is helping us create cases, and then it's helping us to do troubleshooting and all of that stuff. And AI in security is helping us mitigate 20+ threats every month. That's what is happening. And with this, what's happening here is our teams are able to focus on innovation rather than firefighting. And that's the kind of bandwidth that we are able to get with AI. And in Jeff's presentation, we saw some of the power that we can look forward to.
Yep.
It's just unbelievable. See, with AI, we have the ability to anticipate issues. And so much is happening in AI, and we have done so much in AI, but I truly believe we are just getting started. And I feel we can evolve together and learn together in this journey.
I agree. Very inspiring. So what are some of the parting experiences that you want to leave this team with here?
Jackie, we achieved some incredible things. Replaced something that was existing over 10 years in 90 days. And we got in ThousandEyes. And we are getting to the journey, what I was making a quote of yours, right? Ability to anticipate and be proactive. We have done that. And with AI, it's all getting more powerful. The one thing that I want to leave with for everyone is that if you get your vision right, where you want to be, and the means follows, you just need a good partner to work with.
Yep. So vision right, partnership right.
Yes.
And the execution will follow. You're
exactly.
Very humble. Let's say a big round of applause to Rajesh and the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everything.
It was a privilege to share our story here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Rajesh. Fantastic story, and we love bringing it to life with CX. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening, and let me hand it back to Ben. Thank you.
Great. So I'm here to close this out. So we started this morning's conversation talking about some of the opportunities and challenges that are ahead of us. Jeff then showed us some of the incredible technology that we're putting in your hands to help you respond. Jackie stepped us through how Cisco is bringing capability to ensure you can unlock the full potential. And Rajesh showed us what he and the incredible team at LTI Mindtree are doing to turn all of this potential into real-world reality. So please join me in thanking our speakers. So we covered some ground this morning, but there's plenty more to unlock here at Cisco Live. So I encourage you to take advantage of every opportunity to connect, collaborate, and learn together. Please be sure to visit our World of Solutions. We have an incredible partner community in the Cisco ecosystem, and many of them are on the show floor there showing how they can take our assets and build and customize and turn them into meaningful outcomes for you. So thank you again for your time and attention. Have a great week. Cheers.